Hey, hey, welcome to another episode. I am Dagny.
And I'm Damali.
And in this episode, we want to discuss with you the art of debate. There's something we actually started having a conversation about, and then we were like, whoa, I think we should bring this to our beautiful community because I think it'll be a good conversation to have, and maybe we can have some solutions with it, okay? So with this, we want to share how we feel, reflect on how we feel that the art of debate feeds into or influences how we are interacting in communities, how we're interacting online, even how we're interacting with our realities when it comes to how we discuss certain topics, how we consume information, and if we're really being intentional when it comes to knowledge, and how that connects with what's going on, how I don't want to say what's just going on with the world because I feel like we be saying that all the time. And it's become a bit of just like a cliche of like, so what is it though? What's going on? Right. But I think there is this collective feeling of what's the point, especially when you're looking at what you're consuming, what you're listening to, what you're hearing about what's going on, either very close to you or very far away from you. And so in this episode, we want to share how we feel studying or mastering or even getting a glimpse into the art of debate can help with those feelings and also help with how you're navigating with these realities. So, to start, or before we dive into that, Damali, anything else you would like to add as we introduce this topic?
We thought that the art of debate seems to be, I wouldn't say it disappeared, but it seems it's changed, or there's less art of it, I guess, of the art form of it. Because from what I understood for a debate or arguing different points is that both parties are able to discuss what they have to discuss, and they have the evidence and claims and things to back it up. And then even if you disagree with someone, you're still able to debate it, and it's fine. It seems to me more recently we kind of and as you said, like maybe it's this general like a lot of crazy weird things are going on, and like it feels like the Twilight Zone sometimes. So we're kind of like, this is scary. We don't know what to do, or we don't know how to talk and all that stuff about certain things. And we thought that it would be cool to kind of poke at that and give kind of our own experiences and how our I guess how the debate has kind of changed, or the way that we discuss things, or and maybe has it not changed, or is it just social media has made it seem a certain way, and we have so many like there's so many like sound bites and things that don't really tell us the whole story. And I'm just wondering, well, we're just wondering, what happened there, and how can we, I guess in some ways, how can we get it back, and what I guess what started this, like we're pitting people against people and all of these things. And I'm just like, but we're all people though. Like we're not even different species, guys. Like we're all people and we all have our own concerns. And it is possible to discuss things in a way where like you don't have to. I feel like the world would be so boring if we all just kind of agreed on every single thing together. And how often do you agree with every single thing with people anyway? So I'm just kind of I guess kind of intrigued by what has happened there. And so we want to kind of dig into that and see how that changed, and what are we going to be doing going forward. I guess that's
Yes.
to start the intro part of it.
All right. So now let's begin with an actual official definition, because there is an official definition for the art of debate, which I just pulled up so that we're all on the same page. So according to this definition, the art of debate refers to the formal skill of engaging in oral controversy and augmentation to persuade an audience, build a strong case, and effectively counter opposing viewpoints through logical reasoning, clear communication, and well-supported evidence. It involves analyzing topics, constructing logical arguments, delivering them persuasively, and employing effective rebuttal techniques to present a coherent and convincing case within a structured discussion format. Now, with that, I want to share first why preparing for a debate came to mind when we were already discussing how we feel conversations have become a bit empty and how arguments seem to be very circular. online and in person. And just to lay it out in terms of why we feel this is an issue. Let's say you who are listening to this conversation, let's say you, of course, probably watch content online. And I'm sure you've seen content of people who maybe they're journalists, maybe they're not. Maybe they're a pundit, maybe they're not. But they have these videos where they need to give you like a play-by-play or a some sort of criticism or so-called analyzing of some topic, of a person, of a product, and they bring somebody else into their video to be talking about this, claiming they're debating it. Okay? And for content purposes, though, or for video or audio purposes, they're really arguing, throwing out different words, sometimes even cursing, or even cursing each other's moms and these sorts of things to add to the debate. Then let's take it further. Let's say you be scrolling through content and you love the comment section, because to be honest, the comment section most of the time is where the gold is compared to maybe the original video. And you go to the comment section, and unfortunately, on these platforms, you can respond to other people's comments, and then you see a whole bunch of back and forth shots being thrown in the comment section. Also, talking about a topic, but then going way off. Well, I know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then if we take that offline, now you're actually speaking to people in person, whether it's a family gathering, among friends, among colleagues, and certain topics come up, whether it's a current event, it's religion, it's society, it's beauty standards, it's gender, whatever. And again, some people go completely quiet claiming, I don't want to be a part of it, because other people take up, kind of hog the whole conversation and start making it all about themselves. Now, here's the thing. Does any of that sound like the definition we just read about what the art of debate is? No. So this is where in this episode, we're trying to bridge the gap between how did we get from, we have an official definition for debate, and now we have a bunch of people claiming they're debating, but they're doing nothing coinciding with the actual definition. Now, the reason why this is also even personal for us is because back in the day, both Damali and I actually participated in debate team in high school. It was a part of, now I'm forgetting, what was it? It was there was an acronym for it, the Texas something, 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 where we had to prepare and actually compete with other schools. And we got like credit or points for it and stuff like that. Now, the preparation part was actually more important than the competing part, where we would have to show up to school before class. And didn't class start like 8 a.m. or something? So we were on the premises at school before everybody else, having the security guard ask us, why are we here so early? And we're like, because we're coming for debate team preparations. We go to the classroom, and what are we doing at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday? We're reading the newspaper. We have to read a full topic of the newspaper, and then our homework is we have to research on that topic and come back and be able to debate every side of that story. And then we would just be thrown at, okay, you're this side, you're that side. I need you to persuasively convince me that your side is the more logical one. And none of your reasoning can be because you say so, or because you think so, or because you know better. You need to bring up facts, dates, people, all of that. And what I found interesting, or what I appreciated about that preparation, which again, this was kind of extracurricular because I don't think we got a grade for it, but it showed me a prism or methodology to view how I take information and cipher through it, analyze it, categorize it for myself, just for my own understanding, as well as how to articulate what I think about things and how to express disagreement, and also how to listen to a perspective that might not agree with mine or might not align with how I already felt, but still have the capacity to listen to it and engage in conversation with an alternative perspective. And over time, at least for me, I have found that the more discussions I may have in person or online, it's become easier to see who has done that preparation and who has not. And the discerning factor for that is not, oh, some people are lazy, some people are not. I think it's more of the convenience behind how we get knowledge and whether or not people understand how discerning they are of where that information is coming from and how much, and maybe possibly underestimating how much effort it may take to get the information that you need. So I just want to start with, from my perspective, that's the scope of where I feel we have drifted when it comes to the art of debate, which I like what Damali stated of we've lost the art of it, because it's true. Debate is an art form in itself. It's supposed to be fun and engaging and fascinating and sometimes even entertaining and funny and intellectually stimulating. Like, it's actually supposed to be a good thing. But the further along we've drifted from the definition, the more debate has become like a touchy thing. As in, oh, you just like to argue, that's why you want to debate. Or you just like to impose or control the narrative, that's why you're debating, which again drifts away from the definition. So that's why in this episode, we're not trying to enable you to feel like you should just go out there and argue with everybody because you have the knowledge. It's not that. It's that the art form is a really beautiful thing to grasp and even like teach yourself, because I think it does expand. I really feel like it expands your intelligence and the horizon and your knowledge, if that's the right way to put it. But I'll continue that later in the episode. So yes, Damali, go ahead.
No, yeah, I do remember one thing. I do remember. I think it was during the Obama time. This is before. For those these kiddos out there who weren't born yet, as if it was like 80 years ago.
Dear.
But yeah, the whole yes we can, like that was a thing. I remember, yeah, the whole thing with Obama and Hillary Clinton, which was a big deal. Now it's like, what? When did that happen? You don't even remember. Anyway, I remember in high school where we had to do a debate on it. So it was kind of like, a student talks about Hillary Clinton and a student talks about Obama. And for that debate, we couldn't just like, it wasn't like, oh, we're doing the debate and then just do it for 5 minutes and you're done, or just argue about stupid stuff, or, kind of thing. We really had to they're like, no, you have to go and do research and then come back. And then we have to discuss the different points, kind of thing. And I remember that, you had to look up like facts and things like that. And so but then nowadays I'm like, what are we, is it like, are we still doing that in school, or is it just we do it in school, but then we don't do it outside of the classroom? Because I thought that's how it worked, where you discuss things and you get information and all of that. And it also makes me think about, there's this video I watched where there's a lady speaking about information, and she was saying how we think that we know everything just because we have like the internet and stuff, or because you can Google something in 5 seconds, that means you know it, but like you don't. Like there's no way that you can actually know about a topic if you haven't gone like in depth enough in it. But we feel like, oh, okay, I'll just Google it, or oh, okay. And then she was saying how we have I don't know where like we have this fear, like people don't want to say I don't know anymore. Like they have we can't just say I don't know, but I'll go check it. But we want to be like, we always want to seem as if, oh yeah, I know that, and we want to say our own stuff. And sometimes we don't have the information, but you don't want to look as if you don't know, which is interesting, because I think back, I'm sure back then that was like a thing. Like it was okay, I think, at one point to be like, to say that, oh, I don't know this, but I will go and study it, kind of thing, or and it's not what's wrong with not knowing. It just means you have a chance to learn more information, right? Because if you know everything, then that's kind of like, how do you learn from that? And so, yeah, everyone is very much like, or there's this thing about like people just expect you to know. Like there's this new I think I told Dagny about this. There's a YouTuber I've been following, and she's really into like books and stuff like that. And she was saying how, everyone just like there's like this stress that we like because we have the internet, we just have to know everything, and people have anxiety about it. Like, why don't you know about what's happening in this country? Why don't you know about the elephants? And why don't you know about these mice? Like, why don't you know about shoes? Like all this stuff that we're like, and if you don't know, oh my gosh, you're gonna like burn somewhere, I don't know, or explode. And there's this thing of like, oh, you must know everything, and if we don't know, we're stressed about it. And then I think she was discussing why, like, I don't know, how many of you open bookmarks or open articles, and all these articles you're going to read, do you read them immediately or do you just save them on your device?
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm like that, where I'm like, oh yeah, I see this really interesting article, I'll click it, I'll read it later. See, oh, this blog, I'll read it later. Like, so you have this whole list of items that are in some vault on your computer or your phone, notes of like, oh, I'll read this later, and then you have all these tabs and you never do. It's like this thing of like I just it's just like I need to have all this information or all these art and things just to show that I know what I'm talking about, when like you can't know what you're talking because you didn't go deep, right? And I think that it's just amazing because you would think that because we have so much access to information now and resources and all this stuff, it would be easier to have proper debates because like you have the information, you don't it doesn't take it like it doesn't take that long to compile or get all the information together, right? Like it's not that hard to get all of it together, go get what you need, and then do the in-depth stuff and find out things you don't know and be curious. I think we should be curious when we hear things that, especially if there's information that rubs us the wrong way or we don't agree or like, oh, I don't really know about that, right? And I think even with me personally, I have also tried to speak less about stuff in some ways because like before when I was younger, I would say what I have to say and I would put it online and all this stuff, and people used to talk. Now it's like there's certain topics you can't even talk about because it's almost there's like a weird like we've censored ourselves or been censored, or like we can't just like say different, even though we're all different, but we act like we're not. Like, and people like they say things in assumption, like they're like, what I'm saying must be the truth and you must agree because of your age or because of your skin color or because like you must agree with me. And in my head I'm like, actually I don't. Like I don't, and I'm offended you assume that. Like, like why do you assume that? You can't assume everyone thinks like you. And then also I don't think you should only surround yourself with like yes people either. I don't think you should surround yourself with people that only agree with you and that's it, because then I think that can get in the way of growth. We should be curious. We should want to know more, and it's okay to discuss something. And also, it's okay to double back and say, "Oh, actually, I didn't know about that." Because I remember there's a time where I was saying something online some years ago, and I was having some debate with this girl, and some of the information I shared it turned out to be incorrect. And so later I went back and I was like, oh, actually, I'm sorry. Like this that I said was actually not, I didn't mean this. Oh, I didn't have enough information. And I thought that, I mean, of course, it's scary to do that, but I'm like, actually, that's a good thing I did. Like, it's okay to go back and be like, oh, actually, I didn't know, or like, that's not what I thought. Like, I had this information and actually, no. Um, and so I think it's important that it's okay to not know or double back, and also it's okay to change your mind. Like I think we have this weird thing of like someone says one thing, and then when they change their mind, people are like, oh, but you said this last time. So, well, what about 10 years ago when you said, I'm like, maybe people can grow. People
Mm-hmm.
can change the way they feel about stuff and the way they, do that. Whereas now it seems to debate things very tit for tat, and everyone's pitted against each other. Everyone has like this president and this president, conservatives against liberals and all this stuff, and acting like we're not all people, like as if conservatives are like some other creature, some other alien, and liberals are some other alien. I'm like, we're all people, and I think for the most part, everybody wants similar things. Um, and I think that the labeling is an issue. There's too many like labeling of things, and I think it can put us in boxes, and make it harder to go. It makes me, and I just think we need to go, like, it's okay to go deeper. Like, I remember there's something, I don't know if everyone knows he's like an entrepreneur author type person. I think his name's Jay Shetty. And I always remember him because of the eyes. He's like these beautiful light green eyes. And he was saying how he learned something where, like, before you move 3 steps forward, you need to go 3 steps deep. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm like,
Snaps for that.
okay,
Okay.
sir. Like,
All
all right. So you're saying a lot of times in life, we want to go forward, but you haven't done the work, and then you don't know why it doesn't work. Like, you go forward 3 steps and you're like, wait, but I haven't gone deep to figure this out. And that's why you can't move, or you feel like you're stuck, or kind of thing. And I think that could also be applied to like debate, where it's like, before you want to like attack people or jump out or be like, no, wait a minute, go deeper, and deeper into yourself or deeper into the information to make sure, why am I saying this? And because you don't have to like attack a person. You just attack what they're saying, because like people have many facets to themselves. They're not just this one thing that they're saying, right? And I think people are not like, we're not like these like monolith, like we're just like one, like we're just like one, all we are is the one thought that we had. Like, no, there's multitudes to us. And I'm not talking about extremes. Like, I know, yes, there's some things like, like, if someone tells me like, yeah, there's some benefits to like, torturing people. Like, no, I'm not like, no, I'm not like, there's some benefits to going outside and catching birds and just taking their feathers off. Like, no, like that's not what I mean, guys. Like, let's be smart here, okay? But and it's the same thing with some other, I think it was the same YouTuber, I've forgotten her name now, some new YouTuber I'm following, and she was saying like, she's really into reading books. And she was saying, you should read books that are opposite of your views. Like, and not like psycho stuff, like I said, like not to like the art of torture. No, like that's come on. Some, like, we have to have morals, guys. But certain views about things, like if you feel, oh, this, all kitchens are supposed to be blue, as an example, and then there's a book saying no, all kitchens should be yellow, then you should look that up. Like, you should read books and look up information that is different than what you think. You should be open to challenging yourself. You should be wanting to know about the other side. You should be able to think about things more. You don't be stuck by what you think. You need to always be like, oh, I'm thinking about this situation, but maybe there's another side to it. Maybe there's something else that I'm, we need to be like, I think there's some podcast ago where we talked about Tao Te Ching. I think that was the name. And we made that there's some poem about like green sap or something, and how we need to be flexible in life. Because if we're not flexible, then it's just harder, right? And so yeah, that's one thing I would say, where we have all like, we have all this information, all of this stuff around us, but it's like we're bombarded so much that we like, I guess because we have so much information, we think that by default we must know everything. Like, I can just click on Google and get all the information. Obviously, I know what I'm talking about, and everybody else is an idiot. Like, that's not really how that works. And I don't know why we're like attacking people, and insulting them, and calling them names, and all this rude stuff. And granted, I know online it's like you're wearing like a mask. You're kind of behind a screen, so it's easier to like diss people, because like, well, I don't know who they are anyway, so who cares? But especially when people are trying to say proper things. Like, I see online people are trying to have proper conversations about stuff, like proper debates, and then people are just like, well, you're an idiot, so, well, your mom, so. And I'm like, oh, I don't, and the person's like, I have not insulted you once, young man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying my point. And so yeah, it's changed, and I don't know if like, we'll push back. Like, people, it's like we're afraid now. We can't even say anything, and like, if you say anything, then we're taken off the air, we're fired, or we're like, and I'm just like, wait, but we're just saying different points. Like, why? No one's shooting. Like, what's going on here? And of course, I won't say names, but a lot of that's been happening recently, where people just getting canceled or fired or all this weird stuff because people said things, but that's what I think for.
And how that connects with why does this matter?
Yes.
I feel that it's not just about if you're part of a debate team or if you want to be debating or arguing with people. I think it matters because it is so, it now due to, and I don't want to just blame technology, but due to the types of platforms or access certain companies or people have decided to use technology for, it's very convenient to completely pledge allegiance to your bias and just stay there.
Oh, you make me think of the algorithms.
And so your whole world, your whole reality is seen through this tiny keyhole that is your bias. And unfortunately, the way technology is set up now, it is all filtered, pushing your bias back onto you. Even a simple thing like what you noted, oh, if I don't know something, let me just Google it. Now you have the AI overview version of the definition, not Webster's dictionary has this as the definition, right? So, and how much is that overview? Do I see the same overview as you do? Or is that overview taking note of my research history, my tracking history, my scrolling history to give me a definition that feeds into my bias of what I want to see as a definition? Do you see how creepy that is? And so, yes. And so when we connect that to, if we do have a lot of people who are asking, what's the point? What's the point of working harder? What's the point of making friends? What's the point of going outside? What's the point of doing better if like, it just seems like the sky is falling anyway, or it just seems like nobody cares anyway, or it just seems like everyone's trash? Or do you see that those are your biases that have been amplified? Like the volume of your bias is on max, like the speakers have blown out already and you're just riding on the blown out speakers of your bias. And I feel that when it comes to mental health, when it comes to community building, when it comes to the changes we need to see, that is a distraction that keeps you distracted, or that keeps you feeling inadequate, or that keeps you feeling like there is no point, or there is nothing to look forward to. There's no reason to even try to get into any depth. Depth doesn't even exist because your bias has continued this. And so the point of, if this is something that is important to you listening, the point of understanding the art of debate and actually trying to get better at it is that I feel like it enables you to pull yourself out of the bias algorithm. So that when you see it, because this algorithm is not just on your phone anymore. Before it was like, oh yeah, it's just social media. So like, if you just take off the app, you're fine. Now everything around you, it is pushed on you as an algorithm bias, unfortunately. And as things are going, it might even happen, you're going to the market or the grocery store and you only see a certain type of apple because your algorithm needs to give you that while somebody else gets something else. Like that's the levels of where things are going. Is important then to not just tag along with it, because then it's kind of like a bigger level of herding, herding, like how you herd cattle, where like the cattle don't know where they're going. It's just like, we know we're all being pushed in this direction, so we're just going to go. Even if they're being pushed off a cliff, we're just going to go. Like they don't ask anything. But with understanding the art of debate, understanding where do you fall in that? Do you actually truly in-depth understand the types of topics you like to talk about? Or was it a soundbite you saw that was 30 seconds long and you've just cling to that? Well, they said, clouds don't exist anymore. So like, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. Then you just continue. It reminds me of, there was a video, which this is what's interesting, because like there's content that speaks to this kind of stuff. But of course they do it entertaining. So you see it, but it's all still on the same platform that's causing the issue, which is funny. But there was this video where it was, if Jesus was around at this time and he was like filming, vlogging as he was doing stuff, how would people react? Like when he died, and it was like, yeah, I just saw that, like, that Jesus guy, like, he was like, having dinner or something. And then like, I don't know, like some guy was just like snitched on him. No way. You see, that's the reason why we can't have friends. And they just go off and it's like, they don't, because it was just a soundbite, they never got the full story or the depth of like, what was the dinner? What was Jesus doing at the dinner? Who were the people at the table? It's just like, yo, this guy just like rat him out. Can you believe that? And then the next day, yo, man, did you know he's dead? He's dead? Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Anyways, do you want McDonald's? Just completely on the surface. Now, of course, it's a stretch, but it illustrates this is the way we're functioning right now, unfortunately. And so the purpose of even having the discussion in this episode, the solution we're trying to also figure out while we're discussing this, is that we do need to take our art back. We need to take our debate back. We need to take our attention back. We need to take our knowledge back. Like, our brains are so amazing, and we're being herded to use less and less of it. We're being herded to be more and more disconnected from it. And that's a problem. As we have already seen, and again, we're trying to be very gentle and not naming names or like bluntly stating what the issue is. But I'm pretty sure you listening, insert anything that you just feel kind of like, yo, what's going on? What's going on outside? Just insert that in the bracket. How is that happening? How can any of these sorts of things happening? And then why is it that those are the only things you see, and wherever there's a screen or audio around you is insisting either there's major suffering or violence or something happening, or people cannot be trusted, humans are this with it. Where do you think that's coming from? Is that really the truth? We all should just hide under a rock for the next 1,000 years? I don't think so. But again, it's a herding thing that's happening, which is sad. And then the way technology is trying, which again, I'm not saying technology is like it's a personality by itself and it's like some boogeyman. This is deliberate, where now you have in different cultures and different parts of the world, we're trying to use technology to substitute a human. Instead of going to a human to ask this question, I'll just go to technology to ask it. Instead of figuring this out with learning through other humans that have already taught this, let me just go to technology and get like the quick, it's not even Spark Notes anymore because it's even less than that, right? That's a problem, because that is like we are voluntarily allowing ourselves to be programmed. And it's funny because everybody that's possibly being programmed, even you listening, might be being programmed and you don't even know. We all think, oh, I know what I think. I have my mind. No one's in my head. I can just turn off the phone. I just don't need to agree. I have my own perspectives. But do you? Do you really have your own perspective, or have you been programmed to believe what you think your perspective is? So the point of this episode is not to blame, oh, you got to boycott social media. You got to boycott. No. We're beyond that now. Like, that's not even going to do anything anymore. So like, that's not even,
we're done with that.
We're done with that. There's not even a choice anymore. Or like, oh, now we need to boycott AI. That's not even a choice anymore. Like, that's not where we're at. The point is, can you be an intentional, savvy human being in this era right now? Or can you discern whether or not you're being programmed? Do you understand how to uninstall the program if it's already there?
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you understand how to protect your software? Right? That is where we're at when it comes to the way these systems are evolving, dismantling, scrambling, and how much human life is kind of has become more like collateral damage, unfortunately. And that's sad. And I don't think we can all just continue sitting back and like, yeah, that's terrible, right? And then just continue scrolling. Or yeah, who knows what's going on, right? And then just continue with your AirPods, whatever pods that you put in your ear, which is part of the programming, but we won't go into that in this episode. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's so convenient to continue being programmed. That's a problem. And how we get further away from the art of debate, it gets even more difficult to decipher what software is what software you are downloading or being imposed onto you already. And the point or the solution behind that, why that matters, is if you care. If you don't care, then obviously it doesn't matter to you. You can just continue. But if you do care, if the fact that, as we said, whatever you want to insert of how it bothers you the way things are right now, it bothers you when you see what's going on in the world, regardless if it's where you are, where you live, or very far away. It bothers you when you see other human beings, animals, the environment suffering. When that bothers you, this is why it matters then. This type of stuff should matter to you. We're not as helpless as the programming wants you to believe that we are. But this is where the effort to bring back the art of debate comes in, to bring back that depth, to bring back that actual like in-depth understanding and knowledge, and being able to bring other people up with you with that knowledge. That is an important art that this technology is not teaching us, and it's actually trying to remove us further away from, in my perspective.
Yeah. I do think we have to be careful with how we use technology and make sure we are, you always do more research and do your own stuff. Like even if I look up things on ChatGPT, I'm like, okay, well, let me do my own research to check because I know ChatGPT sometimes can be incorrect. And I remember I saw this meme one time about, but I guess it's mostly like older people, millennials, like that flex when you got your degree without ChatGPT. Because I know my degree, there's no ChatGPT. I did that stuff myself. Okay. None of this like putting my whole paper in a chat. Like I don't, not there's anything wrong with that, but just make sure it's not like, are you using technology or is it using you? And which also is it's up to you because technology is not like some creature, like it's not, it's like, it's, it's onto you. I kind of like, I don't think we can blame like I feel like the blame game doesn't help. Like, oh, this happened because of ChatGPT. This happened because of technology. No, it didn't. Because this stuff happened before ChatGPT. So how can it be ChatGPT's fault? Like we're always trying to put the fault on something. And I'm like, no, it's just us. We just you need to be your own advocate. You need to be active in like how you think and feel and do things. You can't be like, well, this is what they said. So, and then if it is a soundbite, look it up. Look up more about it. What is this about? Go into, because they're doing that to you. And people claim they know it's happening. They know that they're just saying stuff, but yet people are still just like, and even people that sometimes there are people that claim to be intelligent or smart or whatever. But then when I hear the stuff come out of their mouths, I'm like, why are you talking like you just heard, like just some random thing they heard and it's like, oh, well, this stuff out. And I'm like, wait, but you're smart though. You went to school. Why don't you know how to think critically? What's going on? Like, why are we, and just like, oh, this one thing happened. I'm like, okay, well, did you hear more about it? Did you, I mean, it's okay to share stuff, to be like, oh, I heard about this, but to make it like, oh, this is the holy grail and like this is the only information that matters, And I think it's a disservice to ourselves, and we have to be careful because it's true. The algorithm is there. When I know all this stuff I'm talking about. If I go and open my phone, there'll probably be some ad about, you want to join a debate program, like some random that always happens. Or I'm talking about potatoes. All of a sudden, I'm being sold potatoes, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. And yeah, or like just discussing anything and then just like pops up and I'm like, my phone's listening to me again. And then sometimes that's helpful, like if you want to buy something you don't know where to buy it and it tells you, oh, buy it here. But I do think we need to be careful, especially more now since we know that we are being kind of herded in a sense, as Dagny was saying, where to do, and you have to be careful of that because then it's a disservice to you if you don't do that, right? And I understand that, yes, it's the times, right? I feel like there is this sense of collective unease, like a lot of weird stuff are happening and like a lot of, dirty laundry is coming out. And I feel like a lot of people feel very scared and they don't really know what the heck is going on. Like, what are we supposed to do? We feel like we have no say in anything. We feel like we don't have power. We feel like we don't we're so kind of stressed out all the time about everything. So I think that adds to why it's hard for us to like be able to debate properly or be able to discuss things or things like that. But I think we should, there is power. There is power in knowledge. There is power in people coming together. There is power in that. I like I still believe that. But from what we've seen, regardless of all the bad stuff happening, there are still people doing really good stuff regardless, right? There's still good things happening. There's still awesome things happening alongside all the bad stuff. And keep in mind, sometimes the algorithm or news can do that too, where there's a bunch of good stuff, but they show you a bunch of bad stuff to make you think that that's all there is. Like it's just fire. water doesn't exist. It's just fire. And it's like, no, I know that's not true. And you're trying to, I mean, to be careful not to let them, poke us. And it's funny because like, that's literally what it is. Like, even like, think about when you watch a movie and how they make you feel certain. They put a certain song, they use a certain lighting, they put the ring, all this stuff to make, and I remember hearing this joke about, I think it was like, I've forgotten who, I think was it Matthew Hussey? I think I think he's the one that shared the joke. And he says something about like, have you seen Apple? Like when you walk into an Apple store, it's so clean. There's no clutter. You just walk into the Apple store. It's all nice and everything's all sleek. It's like a runway for the phones and the computers. And someone just pops up and he's like, hey, do you want to buy something or not? That's okay. Do you want to buy the Titan? Like all this stuff. And like, you don't like, there's not even a cash register. They just show up and they're like, you just tap it. And it's like, you feel so like, oh my gosh, and they do all this stuff. And I'm sure there's something they spray in there. The smell probably makes you feel a certain way. They do all these things to make you feel comfortable enough to, of course, pay them, obviously. But like, that happens everywhere. So you just have to, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like you got to, even the ads and all those things, like someone's making money, like it's a part of a, but I think we have to be aware of it and not be so kind of like this, just hear some little thing and not go deeper. We should always want to be going deeper. That's I think that's where the power lies, right? Of going deeper and wanting to know more. And I think I don't know how debate will change. And obviously we've seen how some people are trying to debate and give information, say the truth, and sometimes their information is cut up or moved or filtered and everything. But people are out there still doing that, I think. And I think it's probably happening more than we know, but we're seeing more of a sensationalized stuff like yeah. So, and then also it makes me think of, there's this show, I think, or program called Jubilee, I think. I don't know if it's on YouTube or a program where it's like you have one conservative and everybody's a liberal, or one liberal and everyone's a conservative, or one whatever, and then like everyone else is the opposite. And I watched some parts of it and I'm kind of like, I mean, there's a lot of yelling going on sometimes, and like we're all like talking over people and not letting them finish their sentences and like shaming people and all this stuff. And I'm kind of like, I don't think this. I mean, I haven't seen all of it, so I'll look up more. I'll go more in depth, as I said, to see more. But I feel like you can discuss things without interrupting each other. I could be wrong, but I feel like you can say your point, and then when you're done, okay, this is what I think. Like I feel like, you know, whereas like I don't know, like because if we're talking over each other and we're not hearing or listening, then it means you're not listening to the other person. Then you're just waiting for when it's your chance to say something. And I'm kind of like, that doesn't work. Like I don't see how can debate work if you're just interrupting and not listening. And then also remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm just kidding, it could be. But it's like, right? Like you have more ears than mouths. Like I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And yeah. And so yeah. So I feel like we should, along with going in depth and getting more information, we also need to listen more. Just stop and listen. Even if you're like, oh my God, what did they say? Just calm down, wait a bit, and then, and then be aware of the other person too. Because sometimes if the other person's not interested in talking or having a proper conversation, be like, okay, and just leave it. Like there's sometimes people will be saying stuff and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to, because I don't know. And you have to kind of decide, do I want to educate or do I want to just maybe let them just stay where they need to stay now? But I make sure I do the work I need to make sure I know what I need to. So I don't know. I don't know what this like. Do we have a huge solution for this? Like, just do more research and check things, guys. Like,
right. I mean, no. I mean, the solution is what we are explaining in terms of how important this is. So the solution is more for people who actually care. And if it bothers you the way things are becoming, this is part of the solution is see where you're at when it comes to the art of debate. See where you're at when it comes to how you've been programmed to view the world. And if it just seems like everything is very negative or making you anxious or making you really lean into a bias, that means you need to reprogram or uninstall the software that was imposed on you. Basically. Yes. So the solution is you need, like, unfortunately, we have to speak about it as if we are bots ourselves because of the way we are now interacting with technology. It is. programming and software and things like that. So, as always, we do love hearing from you. And we
one
would
more
love
thing to add before we end it. I was going to say, and it's okay sometimes to feel uncomfortable also. Yeah. Like if you read something and it's like, oh, I don't know, and it makes you sometimes that's okay to be like, I wonder why I feel uncomfortable. Let me go more into that also. I think just to add that too, because sometimes I'd be reading stuff, or I've been believing something for a long time, and then I read something different, and I'm like, wait, what? I didn't know. Oh, and it completely changes my view on something. That's okay too. Just to add that too.
So yes. Okay. So that is part of the solution of be open to expanding your views, being open to changing your perspectives and your opinions. And it's okay to be uncomfortable while that's happening. It's okay to say, I don't know. That's actually fine. That actually opens you to learn more. So yes, as always, we love hearing from you. So please, if this resonates with you, let us know and share with us. Where are you when it comes to the art of debate? Where are you when it comes to your opinions and your perspectives? Do you feel like they're really yours, or have you been programmed to believe certain things? How are you navigating your bias when it comes to interactive technology? Share with us. And if there's any other part of this topic you would like to hear us discuss more on, let us know, and you might find that in another episode. So, until our next episode, we'll see you then.
Okay. Stay curious and cultured.
Hey, I like it.
Did you see what I did there?
I see what you did there. Okay, I think now we have to sound out now for every episode. That's how we got to end it.
Right?
That's how we got to end it. All right. So thank you. Yes, stay curious and cultured, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.